welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie if you are new here, and today is part 3 of my Halloween-A-Thon. Halloween-A-Thon is hosted by Kelsee over at Slime and Slashers. I will have her linked down below like always. Shout out to her for creating such an incredible readathon, and I am making my way across my game board. In the last 2 parts, I think I have bypassed 4 different locations, and then in this part, the goal is to get through Amy's Fortunes and Kelsee's Creepy Crafts and Goods store. So I'm really excited to hopefully do some crafting and some more Halloween things in this vlog style video, while also reading a set TBR, because for this part, I have a TBR. So let's jump into it. Okay, so let's talk TBR, because if you missed my first video that I will already have linked up in the little icon, I rolled normally in that part. I wanted to just kind of get my Halloween-A-Thon going. It was the end of September, so I just kind of rolled, and each time fulfilled the prompt and then rolled again. I had a blast, but a little intimidating because I kept rolling and kept rolling, and the whole concept and idea is to try to make it through 2 locations at least in each vlog. So the vlog went on and on and on. So in my last part, not only had fewer rolls because I rolled higher numbers, but I just rolled all at the very beginning and made a list of what I needed to check off to fill all those prompts to move on to the next places on my game board, but also to start my next vlog. So with that being said, I've kind of taken a different approach to each one of these videos, and I fear I might run out of ideas. But for this video, I am going to go back to the way I did it in the first one, where I'm just going to roll, see what prompt I get, fulfill it, roll again. That's the plan, unless I get like an activity prompt, because I do want to be reading a book. The only thing I'm changing is that I already have a set TBR. And you may be wondering, Allie, why do you have a set TBR if you don't know what you've rolled yet? I think that is what's going to make this part more fun and interesting, is already having a set TBR. Like, these are the books that I'm going to read. The other prompts that I get, I'm going to have to fulfill them in movies to kind of just like add to this. I'm hoping to get prompts for each of these, but if not, if it comes down to it, I will be substituting a prompt for something else. Long story short on that, Kelsee actually has pages of prompts that are just kind of like backup or extra prompts that you can go through to substitute any prompts that like maybe you get and you don't want to fulfill. I've never done that. I'm kind of hoping I don't have to with this, but I just think this is going to be a lot more challenging and interesting having my TBR set from the beginning. Okay, so I only picked 3 books because I read, I think, 4 in the first part, and one of them was a novella, and even that was like kind of pushing it. I felt like I was spending a lot of time on it. Not to mention, I still have 1 more part to go after this, and I am sweating it a little bit like with the end of the month. So the last part, I only read 2 books, but they were both like over 500 pages each. So it was a lot. So I'm sticking to 3. They are a decent size, but nothing crazy. And for the most part, they've been on my TBR for a long time. I say long time, but like 2 of them came out literally this year. But to me, I'm still like, I've been wanting to get to these books ever since they came out, and I haven't been able to yet. So, same. Okay, so the first one I've already talked about in recent vlogs. If you have watched them, I just did a whole vlog on, oh, I have it right here, a whole vlog on Stephen Graham Jones, Killer on the Road, and then The Babysitter Lives. You guys can check out that video if you want, but I will be reading the Buffalo Hunter from Stephen Graham Jones in this video. This is his new 2025 release, and I believe it's historical horror, vampires. I am so excited. There's of course going to be a big, meaningful, hard-hitting message as well in this because it's Stephen Graham Jones, but I am so excited. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. Next up, I have Isabel Canas' newest, The Possession of Alba Diaz, and I just want to say both of these are on my 25 and 2025, so I'm knocking two out in this video. I love Isabel's writing so much. Although it is horror, there's always like scary, horror elements. I've only read the Vampires of El Norte. Loved it. But I've heard that all of her books are still at the forefront, focused on like this romance. And oh my gosh, the romance and Vampires of El Norte, the yearning and just the whole vibe of it was just so good. And I actually give credit to Isabel for really turning me towards historical fiction in general. I felt like her writing made me fall in love with it and be like, this is beautiful. And because of that, I've reached out to so many more authors who write usually historical, but the blend of historical with my favorite horror, and then on top of that, adding a romance that I didn't know I needed. Oh my God, I cannot wait to jump into this one. And then the last one is not really the book in general I've had on my TBR, but the author. I have wanted to read more from Victor LaValle. I'm doing a 12 horror icon reading challenge, if you will, that one of my friends is hosting, and I already have read, I think I read Lone Women earlier this year, right? Or was that last year? I think it was earlier this year. Either way, I knew that I wanted to have Victor LaValle back on my TBR, so I am going to be reading The Devil in Silver. And I actually just got this from my library. Didn't really have any type of video concept for this. And then I seen these covers and I was like, how freaking cool. This lighting's horrible, but how freaking cool. Like, they're so similar, and just the vibes of this. Is this not like a stunning TBR? Come on. Anyways, that is the TBR. I will talk more about each of these books as I go. I rolled. So listen, my first roll was The Moon. I just wrote this down, so this isn't probably word for word what it is, but you guys will see it somewhere on the screen. The Moon. So I have to read or watch something that has a sky or celestial object on the cover. I don't really have that with any of these. These two literally just have buffaloes on the cover, and then this one doesn't have a sky. So I was like, this might be a really good movie prompt because I watched Sinners earlier this year and I'm obsessed. I want to do a Halloween like cosplay inspired look for it, so I will probably do that in this video. And I want to rewatch because it was so amazing. I mean, the vibes I feel like of Sinner with these is just like, it's there. It's historical, it's horror, it's a vampire, it's perfect. Not to mention, after watching Sinners and going down the rabbit hole of it, so many book recommendations. There was like Ring Shout, which I love, by P. Djeli Clark, but this one was also mentioned. So I was like, so I rolled again and I got runes. You can spell the word spell with letters on cover. And I was like, oh my God, I'm already off to a bad start. But because I was kind of wanting to start with Buffalo Hunter Hunter, I feel like I will probably force this to be the next one. But this one, we have S-P-E-L and then L if I use the L in Isabel. So I'm counting this. I guess I'm starting with The Possession of Alba Diaz, and I can't wait. Okay, you guys, I stopped recording and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna roll. So we're gonna talk about the possession of Alba Diaz in just a second, but I decided to finish out my rolls and to just inform you of what they are, because I started thinking, if I roll a lot of things, I'm going to have to figure out which one best suits which, and also like which ones are going to be like activities, because I feel like certain activities might align up better with each of these picks. Like, I think I want to watch Sinners whenever I read the Buffalo Hunter instead of the possession of Alba Diaz, and then that'll give me some more time until I have to do that cosplay too, because I am currently not ready for it. I need a few days. But I kind of just wanted to see like what other activities I might get, and also what prompts I would get if I'm going to be watching any more movies, so I can start planning those out and just seeing what I'm going to roll. Okay? So I guess in a way you could say this is more like part 2, because I'm not going to have a checklist, but I'm going to break it up into sections, and we are going to complete all the prompts by the end of the video, but it'll be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to my mind and hopefully to you watching. So my next roll was Green Witch, go outside and take a fall picture. I'm excited about that because I've been getting back into my self photography, and I just did pictures with Killer on the Road, so I'm excited to be able to do that again. Then I rolled out of Amy's Fortunes, which was the first location I'm going to be at, into Kelsee's, not Kelsee who's hosting, but the other Kelsee, her creepy crafts and goods store. And I got Witchcrafting, make a horror or Halloween themed decor. And I'm so excited. I have so many different ideas that I'm gonna have to pinpoint which one I wanna do for this vlog. Then I rolled, which I love, PMS Isn't Real Needy. Read or watch by a femme about a femme, which would be the possession of Alba Diaz, but I can't use this because I have to use it for the spell one. And that's not going to work with Stephen Graham Jones or Victor LaValle. So then I rolled Halloween, post a haul. So I'm going to have to do some type of haul in this video. Maybe some type of shopping in this video. I don't know. I feel like I have been getting like different books and stuff lately, but I feel like I've hauled them in other vlogs. Refilmed that haul for this video because I just did like my subscriptions that came in, and I don't think I read any of them in that video either. So no, I didn't. So makes more sense to put it here since one of them is in this video. So I may do that, and that may be like my haul unless I do any more shopping this week. But then my last roll, which would roll me out of Kelsee's Creepy Crafts and Goods store, is Not We Cousins, discuss social issues through horror, which I feel like Stephen Graham Jones and Victor LaValle both do in their books. So I feel like this could go for either one of these. So I am going to then, I hate to do this, but substitute femme by about a femme, or by a femme, about a femme. I hate to do it, and it sucks because I'm actually going to be working on one of my next like character TBR videos, and I do have Jennifer Check from Jennifer's Body on the list. And I just like supporting the girls, okay? But maybe I will start my Jennifer Check video earlier than what I had planned, and I will try to fit in a rewatch of Jennifer's Body to kind of help fulfill that prompt, and then I will just add a bonus prompt for one of these two. Sound good? All right, now I have a better idea of my TBR, what I have rolled, activities I need to do, movies I need to watch, and I'm gonna get it all sorted, but we're gonna go ahead and jump into the possession of Alba Diaz. I did forget to mention that this is a book of the month. This was a book of the month pick. Do they not put like the dates on it anymore? I thought that they did. Oh, well, normally they did, but I missed, I guess, if this was actually featured one month, I missed it because I've been racking up Book of the Month credits. Book of the Month has not been doing it for me this year. I have so many credits, and finally, this past month, I picked up, what was it? The Haunting of Payne's Hollow. It's supposed to be more of like a thriller, I think, maybe? Maybe with some like horror elements. I'm going to be reading that this week for another vlog, so stay tuned. But it's supposed to be like a Sleepy Hollow retelling, so I was like, you know what? Sold. I'll get it. And that way I can use some of my other credits. So I actually used another credit on the Haunting of Payne's Hollow audiobook through Book of the Month. And then I used 2 other credits on getting 2 of Isabel's books that they still had on their site because I was like, I've got to use up these credits because they're just racking up. So yeah, this is a Book of the Month copy. Ooh, we have, that's so haunting. For my story doctor, aren't you thrilled that the first book I dedicated solely to you is the grisliest one yet? I'm so excited. I have such bad FOMO though that I still haven't read the Hacienda. I am gonna get to that one soon. Okay, so when a demonic presence awakens deep in a Mexican silver mine, the young women it seizes must turn to the one man she shouldn't trust. Oh my God, I'm gonna love this. In 1765, plague sweeps through, I'm gonna have to look this up, but Zacchaeus, I think is how you pronounce that. Alba flees with her wealthy merchant parents and fiancé Carlos to his family's isolated mine for refuge, but safety proves fleeting as other dangers soon bare their teeth. Alba begins suffering from strange hallucinations, sleepwalking, and violent convulsions. I love possession stories. She senses something cold lurking beneath her skin, something angry, something wrong. Elias, haunted by a troubled past, came to the new world to make his fortune and escape his family's legacy of greed. Alba, as his cousin's betrothed, is none of his business, which is of course why he can't help but notice the growing tension between them every time she enters the room, and why he notices her deteriorate when the demon's thirst for blood gets stronger. In the fight of her life, Alba and Elias become entangled with the occult, the church. Oh, I love religion horror. Long-kept secrets and each other, not knowing that one of these things will spell their doom. The word spell is in the synopsis. Oh my God, I am so stoked if you couldn't already tell. So she is supposed to wed Elias's cousin, but like starts falling for him. Okay. Hello, you guys. It's been a minute. It's been a busy day. It is officially Monday. I did start the possession of Alba Diaz over the weekend, but as you can see, I haven't made it very far at all. I am liking it. I just have not had time to like, I feel like, breathe. Over the weekend, we went and visited my grandparents, and I've been filming my Sleepy Hollow video, so go check it out if you haven't already. I did some photos and stuff for it over the weekend, and then yesterday, which was Sunday, we went over to James's parents' house, and his mom is currently buying and flipping a house with her sister, and there was some old stuff left in it that we went through, and so cool. There is a china cabinet that's gonna come to my house, and I'm going to be able to finally display my great-grandma's china that my papa bought for her. It's a really old organ because the lady that lived there, who has now passed, she used to play the organ, was like really good at it. And fun fact about me, growing up when I was a teenager, I had an organ and I absolutely loved it. And a lot of bad things happened, and it wasn't a very good time. A lot of it I've blacked out, but I remember my organ. I loved that thing, and we moved and didn't have the space for it, so I had to give it away. And ever since then, I'm like, I would love to have my organ back. And so I am so excited. I'm really hoping that we can get it over here and find a place for it. It's big, so we will see. But besides that, I also found a bunch of really old, like, smutty books in the cellar. My friend was like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for some of those. So I grabbed her some. There was a couple of random books that I kind of just thought the covers were really cool that I also took. Maybe I'll show you guys at some point. I left them in my trunk. But also she had 2 typewriters, like a regular typewriter and then an electric one that works. I am stoked about it. This one is probably gonna have to move because I would kind of like to have the electric one probably here at the desk for like if I'm typing something to like cut out and put in my journal, you know? But besides that, I gotta clean everything up and then I can show you. But yeah, I also did a painting over the weekend. I did like a Sleepy Hollow painting. So I feel like I've kind of done some crafting already, but I'm gonna craft in this video too. While I read The Possession of Alba Diaz, I am going to check back in soon. I just felt like I've been gone from this video for so long. We have definitely made it through the first part. The plague is hitting. They are now going to this mine, and it's really weird because it's almost like what the synopsis doesn't really like let us in on, and I don't think that this is a spoiler because it's right smack at the beginning while it's kind of like building up the synopsis, is that Alba is like making like almost like a pact with this guy to like for them to be wed because of like how it would benefit like them both. Almost like a fake dating vibes, but like they really don't see each other that way, and I don't think that they will. But she like confesses her sins in a confessional and then like later meets that priest who is friends with like her future husband, and she's like, well, this is awkward. But then she meets her, I can't even think of her guy's name, but her guy's cousin, and it's not Elias, it's Elias, something like that. She meets him, and then like when her you know, guy that she's fiance, I guess you could say, comes back over, he's like, oh, so you've met the oh, what did he call him? I see you've met the convict. And Alba says, who? My cousin. I'm like, oh damn. And they were like hitting it off, and I am so excited for the yearning to start and how messy it's gonna get, and her writing is just so beautiful. I'm gonna take it with me today to parent pickup and read some more. I have some more stuff to get done around the house. But also this morning, I did check off one of my things that I needed to do, the fall photos I was supposed to do. I got all pretty today because I'm currently doing another video. I'm all over the place this month. I'm so sorry. But Amazon Originals came out with this new Scared Sexy, and it's like supposed to be horror meets romance, and we have writers like Ali Hazelwood. I read hers this morning, and I am reading one every morning because they're short stories, and doing my makeup. But it got me so giddy. The romance in that got me so giddy and so excited for this. Oh my God. But yeah, I got all pretty this morning. I had a different sweater on and then got hot, so I took it off. And then I got cold again. You guys, the weather literally went from like 80s over the weekend to in the 50s now. It's so cold. And yeah, so now I'm back in a more comfy crew neck sweater, you know? I took my fall photos, so you guys will see them. Hopefully I got some good shots and they all worked out because I ended up just, I want to dress up and then like go to like the park and like frolic in the woods and like take pictures there, but like the social anxiety of people walking up on me, I can't. So I ended up just taking some out on my back deck. I'm currently like cleaning it all up and stuff so I can go start, you know, reading out there again. But yeah, I hope they turned out. It looks like, in the pictures that I've seen, it looks very sunny, not very fall-like, but it is what it is. But I am back to talk to you guys about the possession of Alba Diaz. No, this is not my favorite Isabel Canas. I really, really liked Vampires of El Norte, and I think I'm just to a point where the expectation was so high because of that book that I feel a little let down with this book. My God, the yearning in Vampires of El Norte and just the whole fact that like there's so much together in the book, and while there is quite a few scenes in this, that's what it is there's just moments that they're together. And yes, you would think that means more yearning. I guess for me, I really like that in Vampires of El Norte, our two main characters are like kind of like traveling together, so they're really with each other through the thick of it and helping each other, and it's over, I feel like, a vast amount of time, where this seems a little bit like took place in a week, you know, until like the end, to where it makes the character development with like this relationship feel a little too insta love for me. Which to an extent is okay because her writing is so beautiful, and the way that she writes about people who just adore each other is just incredible. But I don't know, something is missing for me, and I can't pinpoint besides just thinking that it's the overall time span of this one, because it's beautiful. It does a lot with this character Alba and everything that she's went through. Everything entwines into her past to her present. It intertwines in with this family because of this like marriage deal that she's making. There's so many elements. Oh my God, my cat's being so loud because she wants in the bedroom with the boys and they're not letting her in. Say. It really is beautifully written though, and I really loved the story following these characters. Alba finding not only like everyone else seeing the signs of a possession going on, but, and like the typical characteristics of a character, for instance, Reagan in The Exorcist, and like the different signs that she's going to start showing. I love possession stories, so this really gave it to me. What I found unique about this one is the fact that Alba herself too is very vocal about the changes within herself, and knowing that there is something dark and evil in her, and getting her point of view of hearing these voices, I think is really interesting as well. But also fighting against it and wanting to be freed. So many more messages with that. She's just another writer to me, kind of like Rachel Harrison, where you just get women positivity, women empowerment from their books. And I love that a lot. Although there is some things that I don't know, some of it just feels a little off to me. At the whole of it, with the plot, the possession, the story, the stuff about the mine, and like the history of that and everything that was going on into the story, I'm still landing at a 5-star. I was kind of like going back and forth on it because I just thought like Vampires of El Norte is such a high 5 for me that I'm like, this can't be a 5. But it is. Like, it just feels like a 5-star read to me. I would just say it's just a 5 though. We're like, Vampires of El Norte is like high 5, one of my favorite books. Like, it's so good. We'll definitely be reading more from her, and I cannot wait to pick up The Hacienda, which is my haul, because I did take my fall photos. I read The Possession of Alba Diaz, which spells the word spell on the cover. I did do some painting, but not for this video, for a different one. And I have plans for some more painting. But I thought that this would be a really good time to show you guys my book of the month picks. I'm not gonna rant here for long, but I will just say they really have disappointed me this year. And because of that, I've skipped almost every month. But by skipping, I still am racking up credits. So this month I was able to use 4 credits, which I'm glad, because I think that makes me now like 3. So hopefully, fingers crossed, next month they have some good horror picks, or at least one, and I'll try to just use up the rest of my credits on, you know, backlist books they have on there, because that's what I did this time. My October pick was The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. I also used a credit for my first ever audiobook through Book of the Month, because I just went ahead and picked up the audiobook for that to use a credit. You guys can see my thoughts on the Book of the Month, the audiobook, in that, because I don't want to say anything else mean. But while I was at it, I picked up 2 of Isabel Canas' work on there that were just still on their site that I could use credits on that I don't own. I really wish they had a copy of Vampires of El Norte so I could have the 3 like matching, but it is what it is. But yeah, I was so excited to have this so I could have a physical copy for this video, and I will definitely be getting to this hopefully really soon so I can be caught up on her work, because she is just an incredible writer. And that means we are moving into the next book, which is going to be my... Ooh, I have to find a prompt. Well, I know it's going to be this book, but I am going to go through all of the other prompts that I could substitute for, and I'm going to find one. And I will let you guys know the next time I check in. I just really hope I don't forget. But yeah, I'm going to find a prompt to substitute so I can go ahead and start this. I think Hoopla has the audiobook, which will help because I'm going to jump into some painting. I think this is what I'm going to do anyways. I have these 2 just classic vintage paintings in these frames. I love these frames so much. I haven't decided what I want to do yet. I really like trend of taking paintings like this and then like adding characters or things in them. I have my ghost painting, which is hanging up above me. I just did a Sleepy Hollow one in my Sleepy Hollow vlog of the Headless Horseman. So I kind of want to do the same vibe since these are going to be hanging in there with my Headless Horseman one. But I'm trying to think, if I keep these like this and I paint things in them, I just want to make sure that you can see them, because the images like are just so small that if I make characters, like, are they really going to pop? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm going to brainstorm on it some more while I listen to the audiobook or start The Devil in Silver. This is me today. I don't want to hear what anybody has to say. For real though, it's my little afternoon pick-me-up. I feel like it's been forever since I've checked in with you guys. I know it hasn't been that long. It's been a couple days, okay? And I felt like checking in today because I like my look. I'm doing like a purple, it's kind of faded a little bit. It's now the afternoon. I'm having like a little caffeine pick-me-up this afternoon. Halloween season. I don't even know what video I've talked about this, but like Halloween season is starting to be killer. Plans nonstop. I'm exhausted, you guys. But we're back to it. I wanted to check in because I like the look. Like I said, it's a little faded, but I did go for like a purple red moment because they are an underrated combo. And I was wearing a sweater earlier, but I got hot. We're at that point where if you live in the Midwest, you know, where it starts at like 40 something degrees and then it gets to like 80 degrees during the day. It's insane. I wonder why my allergies are so bad this week. Anyways, it matched my Dracula shirt. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna throw that on now that I'm hot and... Anyways, I wanted to check in because I am working my way through The Devil in Silver. I wanted to inform you guys from maybe the past B-roll. We got Axel's pumpkin done for Pumpkin Palooza. He ended up going with the pigeon from, you know, the pigeon books. We love the pigeon in this house. Axel has a stuffy of it and we have quite a few of the books. So yeah, over the weekend we scrambled and tried to put that together so he could take it on Monday. It is now Thursday and tonight is not only Pumpkin Palooza night where we get to go through their gym and see all of the pumpkins that the third graders have made. And they all have little cans next to them so that you can donate money. All the proceeds go to St. Jude's, which is really cool. But there is winners. So we are going to that tonight. They're also doing the book fair. So after voting for pumpkins, we get to pop into the library for book fair and buy some books. Let Axel pick out some stuff for his book fair. And on top of that, they're doing like their chili night the same night just to kind of like combine the three, but we never stay because for one, my kids do not eat chili. They just will not, they refuse. For two, I don't eat chili unless it's like homemade at home or like a family member is making it because I'm so damn picky. I can't do canned chili. And I'm just, I don't know, I'm just really weirded out by chili that has, I don't know, it's just one of those things. Like, I'm picky about chili. I'm actually making chili. I did not plan. I actually planned on making chili last night, but we ended up just having a quick chicken quesadilla night. So tonight I'm making my chili. So we are gonna have a chili night, but it's just gonna be at home. It feels very fall though, and so I wanted to include it in this vlog. But you guys, I am making my way through The Devil in Silver. And I'm kind of having a rough time. We are, in fact, in this, I'm halfway now. We are in this mental institution in Queens. We follow Pepper, who we have found out that he had some type of domestic altercation and it led to these three men coming up and interfering. And then instead of like kind of calming down and backing away, the rage kind of hit him and he started hitting them. Not knowing that they were cops that were just not dressed in uniform. So he was put on a 72-hour hold, which has now been extended, and he's having to stay here. And they're getting the inside view of this institution that is corrupt and treating their patients very poorly, doing things that they are not supposed to be doing, restraining them, getting a glimpse into the mind or the headspace of somebody who is having to be medicated, is forced to take this, and it's gives you the insight as to why they medicate them, to not only keep them calm for staff, but to also kind of, in a way, just kind of blur things for them because they would go mad being in this institution for this long, not being medicated. It's been really dark, really sad. I'm trying to like barrel through and not get like too depressy about it. So it's been a tougher one for me. And now I just feel like there's been such a long standstill of just like, it's going on and on and on. And don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying some of the characters. I really like Dory. She is this elderly lady there and she's just funny and witty. We're definitely getting to see the different sides of different patients, and they're all starting to act a little differently, like they're almost like being like cured almost. So that's kind of starting to intrigue me again, but also him being attacked by something in his room at night and not getting answers, and just, again, his stay being extended without his knowledge, and then them being like, will you sign this? And it's like, he says it's like just a horrible, like, sprawled out signature that he's like, oh my gosh, I was obviously like on something when I signed that. Like, how is this okay? I feel like it touches on a lot of messages of how people in these conditions can be treated, and how places like this can become too power heavy and turn more corrupt than good. And I don't know, there's a lot of really good conversations in this that I feel like goes hand in hand with my last prompt, which was the social issues one. I know Stephen Graham Jones will do that too, but I still have not looked through all the prompts on what I was going to exchange this one for, so I need to do that. I'm sorry, this part, I'm like just failing. I'm just a failure at this point with this part, but I'm trying to jump back into it and balance everything. I have like 3 different videos going right now, so bear with me, but I do want to make a really good dent in the rest of this tonight. I'm hoping to finish it tonight or tomorrow so that we can finally jump into the last book for the video. Last night I went to my son's second basketball practice. James went to the first one, so I got to skip that one, but his coach this year is doing 2-hour practices. It's a little wild. With how busy our schedule is, it's just like, whew. But I'm not gonna lie, I really liked being able to have 2 hours of just uninterrupted reading time. I had about 40 pages left of The Devil in Silver. I knocked that out while I was there. I think this is a 3 for me. And I just want to clarify before I jump into this review that I don't think that this book was meant for me. I think that there's a lot of topics and a lot of meaningful things in this story that I appreciated, that I liked. But as a whole, the way it was written, the style it went into with the horror, it just wasn't for me. This definitely is a lot more literary fiction. The real life horror, which I typically like, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe diving more into like mental health and that type of ordeal, and like playing so lightly around it and in a way that I wish was a little bit better in a sense, isn't for me. Maybe it's a trigger for me. I'm not sure, but I had a really hard time with this. I feel like if it wasn't for the other reads that I have going on with this one was so heavy that I feel like it could have thrown me into a slump, and definitely don't want that. It honestly is quite a beefy little thing to get through too, because there's so many parts. Like, I would get so invested again and be like, oh, wow, this is interesting. And then it would just drag on and on and on. And I'd be like, okay, come on, you gotta do something different. You gotta jump back into like what I need. And then he would. And I'd be like, oh yeah, the last half of this is gonna be so good. And I would have like a good portion, and then it would just start dragging again. I'd be like, oh no. I wanted to love this a lot more than what I did. There was so many cool parts, and like the actual horror bits, of this devil thing, of actions that like people would do in the story, different things like that, insane. Like his actual horror writing, I love, but I just felt like there wasn't enough of it in the story. Like it was almost just like you got sections and then the rest were this ongoing repetitive storyline. I don't know, I just lost a lot of interest, and I hate to say that. I will say the author's note was really good. It talked about how he wrote this in 2011, and him and his wife were both writing books at the same time, with deadlines, and they had their first child. And God, I know how hard that is. I can't imagine like trying to write a book during that time, but they both, for every single day for months, they gave each other 2 hours a day to get out of the house and write. And so he talks about how this book is the chaotic beast that it is because he wrote the majority of this at like coffee shops or a Dunkin' Donuts and like stuff like that. And I love those touches when authors let us in on like the writing process and like what was going on at the time while they were writing it. I think that that's a really nice touch to have. He said they did not meet their deadlines, but they tried and they still got their writing time in, and I just love that. He also throws a little bit of shade to a certain hospital. I'd like to send a heartfelt fuck you to St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital Psychiatric Unit. No doubt they've long forgotten why I loathe them, but I will never forget. I also love when an author is not super, you know, transparent and like throwing it out there like what happened or whatever, or like maybe an aspect of their life that was horrifying for them or that they seen was horrifying for a loved one, and that they went through and then turned it into a horror book. It's none of my business. I just love that there's a nod to it there, saying like something has happened, and that's obviously an aspect that inspired some of the horrors, the real life horrors throughout this, and I love that aspect so much. After that, I had to read my nightly short story from One Bad Night. You guys can go check out that video. I got that finished, and then I still had like 30 minutes. So I picked up my next book for this video, The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. So we're gonna jump into this one now. I almost forgot, you guys. The one thing that I've forgotten in this video from the very beginning, I looked through and I scoured for a prompt. And it just so happens that our mayor, Cameron, has replacement prompts. And the only one that I could see that would match up with The Devil in Silver is Don't Fear the Reaper, read a book, or watch a movie or show about grief. Here we go. That is my replacement prompt, and that is what I did. Back to The Buffalo Hunter, which I'm taking with me today. We are going to the pumpkin patch as a family. This is my second pumpkin patch this year. The last one was for a school trip, and that was in my last Halloween-A-Thon part, if you missed it. But today we're going as a family to our favorite that we go to every single year, and for some reason it's always put off to the end of the month, and then we have one last weekend to fit it in before Halloween, and that's exactly what we're doing. And it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so like literally today is our last day. Oh, I just love this copy. The edges, oh, it's so pretty. And I got it signed. This chilling historical novel is set in the nascent days of the state of Montana, following a Blackfeet Indian named Good Stab as he haunts the fields of the Blackfeet Nation looking for justice. It begins when a diary written in 1912 by a Lutheran pastor is discovered within a wall in 2012. What is unveiled is a slow massacre, a nearly forgotten chain of events that goes back to 217 Blackfeet dead in the snow, told in the transcribed interviews with Good Stab, who shares the narrative of his peculiar and unnaturally long life over a series of confessional visits. This is an American Indian revenge story, captured in the vivid voices of the time. There's not really chapters in this. Last night I got to page 36, so I only read about that much. still a pretty good dent. My reading at the game or the practice was phenomenal. I also have the audiobook on Everend that I am using, so I'm hoping I'll be able to listen to some of it maybe today while we're like on the road and stuff. But I really like that we have the point of view of the person who has found this diary and is reading it and researching it for like a paper. And when it goes into the diaries, like entries, she'll like for the audiobook, she'll start reading it and then he starts reading it, like the person who, the Lutheran pastor starts reading with her until it's just his voice. It kind of fades into just his voice. Chef kiss, phenomenal touch, the audiobook. And we are getting kind of the beginning story of this Lutheran pastor and what is going on in the area. And has met now Good Stab, who came into his church and is now at that point of the confessional. That's as far as I've gotten, but I love Stephen Graham Jones, so the writing's already phenomenal. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this. It's on my 25 and 25, so it's another one I'll be checking off. Yeah, I'm super stoked to finally be getting to this one. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys because we are going to go to the pumpkin patch. And then hopefully I'll have some type of update later for you guys or tomorrow. I'm really hoping to wrap up this video because I want to do one more part before Halloween. And whew, I don't know if it's going to happen this year, you guys. I'm starting to sweat it. Also, I'm repping my ghost face today, and I have like a little pink moment going on for it.
You got me, dude.
So technically we have 36 minutes.
Oh. 36 minutes to find our way out of the corn maze.
We've pretty much split it up.
The boys went to their first haunted house. You want to talk about it?
I don't want to talk about that green room or how the rats treated us.
The rats?
Yes.
Okay, by the way, don't go in the haunted house because it explodes your ears, okay?
It explodes your ears. It was very loud.
It's all purple now, so it's so bit loud.
Did you guys have fun at your first haunted house?
Yeah. We're in a huge corn maze right now, and
Can't even see over the corn.
I'm just gonna have like.
It is so much taller than me this year. I can't see anything.
We used to have like these
Yeah, they used to do these and you would have to punch hole
Yeah.
and make your way through. But they don't do it anymore. I think because they get rusted from the rain.
Okay. There they are. Hey, we're both recording a vlog.
Are you recording a vlog?
Yeah, I'm doing another one. Hi.
We made it.
You did it?
We made it with like 28 minutes to spare.
We are back from the pumpkin patch. Well, we have been for a while. Everybody's kind of chilling and getting ready for bed now, so I'm gonna keep it down a little bit. I know this is harsh lighting and I look like a mess. I'm about to go wash my face and go to bed. But as you guys can see from the B-roll, I took my book with me today because I was like, it's like crunch time on these videos and my reading for October. We watched Sinners tonight, so I can check that off as a prompt. And just as good, if not better. It is phenomenal. If you are a movie watcher and you have not watched Sinners yet this year, what are you doing? Like, you have to stop your other movie watches and watch it. It is so, so good. James put it on while I was making my tea, but I want to say it's on HBO Max. I could be wrong. It is on one of the streaming platforms. But it is so, so good. When I first seen or like heard about it, I was like, you know, like, I like vampires and it kind of has kind of like a almost Western vibe to it. But obviously at the time I didn't really know too much about it, but I had seen, is it Michael B. Jordan? And was just like, okay, you know. But then I seen that it was twins played by him and I was like, oh, they lost me. Because I've said it multiple times, but like the twin trope, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with twins. I love twins. I have twins in my family, love them. But when people try to put twins in movies and books and stuff like that, usually it does not work for me because there's always some type of dynamic that they have to add to make it weird and just, or like a plot twist. Oh my God, you guys, I am so tired. I feel like my eyes are like closing as I'm talking. This movie does not. It is so good. I love Smoke and Stack so much. And it's so good. The way it's filmed, everything, the story, how the magic with the music and everything is intertwined. That scene in general, the music, magic, the ancestors and generations to come, that scene, if you know, you know, it's so good. And it's just, it's just so beautifully done. I love it so much. And then of course the vampires added into this and the acting, like everything is so good. It's heartbreaking. I want to sob every time, but it's so good. 5 stars, obviously. And honestly, I do think the rewatch, like the first time experiencing it is like, whoa, like this director is doing something. And it definitely is one of those that I'm like, if I could rewatch a movie for the first time again, I would love it to be Sinners because you're kind of thrown into like what all is going on, what does this mean? But as a rewatch, oh my God, it is mind-blowing, picking up on so much now that I know. I loved it. Definitely is the Buffalo Hunter vibes. I am 120 pages in and it really has been less of the like journalist or the woman who is writing a piece on it, and more so what she's reading. Like, we're reading it at the same time that she is and going through it, and now it's just kind of jumping back and forth between this pastor's diary, letters, whatever, to then being Good Stab's like account of everything going on. And I feel like I have to tread so lightly with this because I don't know, like, it's just one of those weird ones where like I don't know if saying this is a spoiler or not. So I'm gonna tread really lightly because I don't want to spoil this for you guys. But I do get Sinners vibes. Like, it's, I mean, we are hearing from a pastor, so there's kind of like this religious aspect to it. There is a vampire aspect, and it is taking place right now in 1912, but it feels very action and Western type of vibe, kind of like Sinners. That's how I'm visualizing it. Like, when these scenes happen, I'm like, oh my God, like, it's just like the movie. I can like visualize it. And there's actually a scene in Sinners earlier on in the movie where this guy, you know, burning from the sun, stumbles upon these people's doorstep and asks to come in for help, and they let him in. And right after that, this like tribe comes through, and they're trying to tell her of the warning, and like, if you've already invited this person in, like, God bless your soul, like, you know, you've already done it, pretty much. And that whole scene is like encapsulating like what this has been so far for me, and I'm just more and more excited to see where it goes. Yeah, I'm that far. I will definitely pick it up tomorrow, but we once again have plans. We're going to be leaving town and heading in the different direction than we did today, and I am picking up some books that I bought that I'm excited about. But we are also like last minute costume shopping because of course we are. We have a favorite like small shop that we like to go to for costumes. I'm of course gonna stop in at Spirit. But besides that, I don't know what the day will entail, but I will be bringing my book along with me again and reading, and hopefully checking in at some point tomorrow. It could be kind of like this where I'm just dead tired once again. I fear this video is rather long though, so I am going to try to really make progress in the book before I update you guys. So it may even be the following day before I even update you guys. Considering starting part 4 and like tandem doing these videos just so that I can start putting more B-roll in that one, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all the things in this video and I'm not gonna have anything for the last one. Besides that, Pumpkin Patch was great. It was rather chilly, and the boys requested to wear shorts today, which was an awful idea. Thank God they had hoodies. And I was fine in my sweatshirt and leggings, but it was rather chilly. But the food was delish. The margarita was delish. We did end up going into the corn maze, as you guys seen, and we actually made it out. And actually, while we were leaving, the whole pumpkin patch was closing in about like 30 minutes. And the lady was telling people trying to enter in, like, we're not allowing anybody else because this is a maze that takes at least 30 minutes to get through. And James, I had just stopped recording and I was so mad because James turned and looked at me and was like, 30 minutes? Like, we just completed that in like 14 minutes. I was cracking up laughing because I was just like, when we first went in, we had the mindset of like, they close at 6. So like, we have literally like 45 minutes to make it through this. And when the boys were younger, I kid you not, we were probably in that corn maze for an hour because we had a stroller or a wagon or something, you know, that would take us so much more longer to get through it. Or when they're actually toddlers and older and like walking more, like it still would take forever. But now that they're so much older, like, oh, it's so bittersweet. Like, it's so nice because experiences like that, they're more so like, yeah, let's speed run this, you know. It's like a game, a challenge, you know, for them. So it goes by a lot faster, and we don't have to stress as much, even though I still do, because I thought, oh my gosh, we're never going to be out of here in time and they're going to be mad at us because they're closing. Yeah, 14 minutes. I was like, wow, I could not believe that. It's also very, very, like, yes, sweet, but also bitter because it's just like, oh my God, they're growing up so fast. Besides that, like, they just kind of did big kid things today. They didn't really want to do any of like the little kid stuff besides like the little like trampoline barn thing where I got to sit and read and sip on a margarita for a little bit. That was nice. But that didn't even last long, and they were out playing like tetherball and like bigger kid stuff, and I was just like, my kids are growing up. Anyways, it was a really good time, and I'm glad that we went like we do every year. I did stop at the Goodwill in that town, and I got a couple of books. I don't have them next to me, or I would show you guys. But I found a copy of The Regulators by Richard Bachman, aka Stephen King. But it's the same cover, but a different edition than what I already own. So I did snag it because it's the Goodwill. I found like this like anthology of like fairy tale stories, but reimagined by, I think it's Dahlia Adler. She's the one that edited the Edgar Allan Poe reimagined stories or inspired stories or whatever. And I rather liked that one. So I was like, I'm gonna grab it. And then there was one other, and I can't even think of what it is now. I don't know. Actually, I might have taken a picture, because I'm always like sending my friends like what I found. Oh yeah, Kelsee Miller, I'll Be There For You, the one about friends. It's literally like, those are the 3 books I found. Axel found a creepy Halloween mask, and I picked up a pair of devil horns for a photo idea that I have. And that's it. Anyways, that is enough. I will check in with you guys soon when I've made more progress.
He's just
Hello, you guys. Oh, I look like a hot mess. Happy Halloween. I didn't want to have to finish this video out the way that I am finishing this video out. But this past week was really, really hard on us. For one, we are super busy, like I told you guys in previous clips, but for two, I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but one of our rabbits that we've had for the past like 6-ish years passed away this week, and it's obviously super devastating for even me and James and the boys, but also the devastation of seeing my kids go through their first major pet death has been extremely hard. And I have tried to get in front of the camera the past couple of days to film my outro because I have finished my next book, or the last book for this video, but I've been emotional. I feel like I'm hanging on by threads right now, but it is my favorite day of the year, and I'm trying to stay positive today, and I'm trying to make the most of it. I literally just have a minute to talk to you guys because my sister and her kids and husband are coming up, and I'm so excited because this is our first Halloween that they're gonna be able to come with us, and then my friends are coming over later, so we can all go trick-or-treating and stuff together, and it's just gonna be a really fun day. I am about to start my next part. It's gonna be my 4th part of the Halloween-A-Thon, and it's gonna go into probably the weekend of Halloween, or after Halloween, but it is what it is. I say it's Halloween and spooky season until my birthday, which is November 24th, because spooky season is my favorite time of the year, and I'm just going to vibe with it until then anyways, so who cares? I am hoping to get this part out this weekend, so that the next part isn't too much further than that, but yeah, that is why the video is the way it is. There's a lot more that I wanted to get to. I did check off all the prompts. The only thing that I can think of is the crafting prompt that I didn't necessarily do what I had planned to do, but I did paint that Sleepy Hollow painting in another vlog during the time that I was filming this one, so I'm gonna count that. I've also been crocheting because I have a niece and a nephew coming right around the corner, so I'm making baby blankets. So I am working on this one, and I've been working on it while I was finishing out the Buffalo Hunter Hunter. So this is the last little prompts for this video. I did in fact finish the Buffalo Hunter Hunter, and it's one of my favorites from him. I started this really intrigued, interested, wondering where all this was gonna go. I feel like the plot of this is very mysterious in a way, like it doesn't really give too much away of what you're about to get into, and it is, oh my Lord. This is for historical fiction people who like that twist of horror and real life horror, because it's devastating. It's a hard one. Please check your triggers, but it is so, so good. And then you mix Stephen Graham Jones writing on top of it. Oh my God. I just loved it. I ate it up. I've been super emotional, obviously. So being that emotional, I also found myself crying while reading this. I don't know if everybody else is going to really experience that. I mean, it's very sad, especially if you get the Barnes & Noble edition, because the back has like some of the history of some of the inspiration for the story and what actually happened to a Blackfeet tribe. And reading that last night, because I had put off reading the little history part since it's not like an actual part of like the book. It's just kind of what inspired some of his writing. I was bawling my eyes out. Yeah, this follows, it starts off and it ends with this reporter or journalist who is writing about this diary she found. And the diary is from a Lutheran priest who hid it, and she found it, and she is going through all of his diary entries. And I think I talked about how cool the audiobook is later on in the book, because we have a little bit of her at the beginning, and then it jumps straight into the diary entries, and then it'll kind of switch to the point of view of Good Stab, who is our vampire vigilante who is seeking revenge, and he tells us about the people who he is taking revenge on, and he is saying it and telling the story in a kind of like a confessional way to the priest. And then it we'll cut back and forth between the two of them kind of throughout it. And then at the end, we get back into, I already forgot her name. She has a really cool name too, Etsy. We go back to Etsy, the journalist who is talking about it. And she's also like she has like a tape recorder that she's recording herself on. And the audiobook is really cool because it has that mixed media effect of making it sound like a tape recorder. How her story even ties into all of it is so cool. The different aspects of this body horror wise and where he took it with this vampire being and all of the traits was so unbelievably cool. But on top of that, bringing forward another really meaningful story of history, really brutal, dark history that needs to be recognized, that needs to be put out there and talked about because it's just horrible and it happened to these people. So beautifully done, wrapped up in this. And Weasel Plume, I love you. 5 stars, if you couldn't already tell. If you pick this one up, it is slow burn Stephen Graham Jones, so you have to be a Stephen Graham Jones person for this one. But if you pick it up, make sure you read the afterword. He is incredible at describing what goes into the writing process and why he chose this story and different things that would happen that would make him change the direction of it, and his heartfelt, thanks to all of his friends and his wife. And it's just it's always so sweet. I cry at the afterwards every time. And also, if you get the Barnes & Noble edition, you can check out the little history pieces that he put in the back that are gut-wrenching, but really show where the inspiration and everything came from. And I love that. I love when an author from a certain culture brings forth their history and talks about it in a way of bringing awareness and also making it so entertaining for us with a good, really thought out story that has so many deep elements of it that, I loved it so much. And I think it was a wrong time for me to be reading it because I've been super emotional, but nonetheless, it was so good. And I'm excited to wrap up another part. I'm sorry that my last one's going to be coming way after Halloween, but yeah, it's been a really tough time, and I'm going to have other videos that are kind of more Halloween themed too coming out a little late, but I hope you understand, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.